What's up, guys? Welcome back to Among the Fence, my YouTube channel where I do reviews on music and albums and EPs. My name is Aaron, and today we're going to be checking out the new album Fortitude by the band Gojira. The heavy metal, well, I guess the kind of prog metal, sometimes technical death metal, sometimes sludge metal, but mostly the heavy metal band from France is back with their 7th studio album. For those of you who don't know, Gojira started in 1996 under the name Godzilla. In 2001, due to some legal issues, they had to change their name to Gojira. And I gotta be completely honest, I'm not 100% familiar with their entire catalog. I've listened to a lot of their stuff, but I've been looking forward to Fortitude ever since the first single came out. Fortitude opens up with the track Born for One Thing, which I believe is about facing your fear of death or not letting it hold you back from enjoying life and experiencing life. And it starts out with like a decent build up into a pretty chuggy riff in the verse. The vocals are great, but they do sit behind the mix. That's something I always have to come to terms with. Every time I listen to Gojira, or even sometimes like Mastodon, like some of their older stuff, the bridge is pretty atmospheric and kind of shocked me a little bit just how atmospheric it was for how chuggy the rest of the song is. The breakdown is kind of weird, but in an interesting way, and the bridge is extremely dope and super heavy, and it's just an all-around really, it's a very dynamic song, and it really sets the tone for how the entire album is going to go. The only song I had a hard time getting into, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, how could you dislike that song? But that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying I had a hard time really enjoying it as much as the other songs, and that was Amazonia. And it's based around raising awareness for a fundraiser to support the communities that are around the Amazon. And that's not really the thing I had a hard time with. It's mostly just the music. It's got like this boingy, gallopy thing going on, especially in the percussion. It's just got a boingy thing happening. The chorus is very fat. The verses are super thick. The post-chorus is kind of awkward, but the bridge and the breakdown kind of make up for it a little bit. It just, I don't know, I think it's the boinginess. The more I listen to it, the more I kind of dislike it. The first time I was like, that's kind of a cool sound. I kind of like what they did there. It's different, it's unique. And the more I listened to it, I was like, I can't do it anymore. My two favorite songs on the album are Newfound and Sphinx. And I believe the reason why I enjoy them so much is because they have that traditional Gojira riff style to them. And it's honestly why I like Gojira so much in the first place. It's just because of their fat, heavy riffs. Newfound also has like a lot of layers to it, specifically in the chorus where the lead guitar takes over a little bit more with some fantastic melodies. Post-chorus riff and outro is phenomenal. My only issue with the song is they repeat Newfound quite a bit and it becomes a little bit drawn out. It's kind of, I feel like the song could have ended a little bit sooner, maybe a whole minute sooner. And Sphinx also has that traditional sound to it, but it's like a fast, trickly sound. It's quite a bit bigger. It's just such a big sound. It becomes even more so in like the post-chorus, just so huge sounding. It leaves you feeling kind of mesmerized, and I feel like the scratchy, distorted vocals add to that quite a bit too. In the first single, Another World, which I reviewed maybe about 3 months ago or so, I gave it a 3.8 out of 5. It's got a really cool riff. Just my only issue with the song was that it kind of became boring after a while, but again, musically, the imagery in it is fantastic, and listening to it again in the album in its entirety, honestly, it kind of fits in quite a bit better, more in the album than it does just standing out as a single. And the song that comes right after it is Hold On. It feels like some kind of ritualistic dance, mainly because of like the layered vocals and the drums. And this is where they kind of flex their prog metal skills a little bit more. It's got a galloping riff that comes in heavy after you've been lulled into a trance. It's kind of inspiring and just an all-around uplifting song. Kind of reminds me of something that Tool might do. The title track song, Fortitude, is an instrumental. It's kind of sounds really familiar. I can't really find out like where to place it, but I feel like I've heard something that sounds very similar like this before. It flows really well into the next song, The Chant, which I believe is about like the acceptance of death again and not letting it rule your life. The cadence reminds me a lot of a Mastodon song, and it's got a very simple riff that's really open. It lets the woes shine through. And for a song that has so many woes in it, I didn't hate it. I actually enjoyed The Chant quite a bit. I would say it's pretty close to one of my favorite songs on this album. Normally, I don't like songs that have woes in it because it's just a very lazy approach to writing lyrics. It's kind of like a cop-out. We don't know what to do, so we're just going to throw a big fat chord out there and throw some inspiring woes over it, but the chant does it perfectly, and I gotta say, Gojira knows how to do it right. The Trials is the slow burn song on the album. It's got some clean vocals, an interesting guitar riff, and more laid-back drum work. It kind of fakes out a climax about 2 times, like you think, oh, here it comes, but it does it really well at building up the suspense, and it's a pretty dang good song. It feels like a dream a little bit. The song Into the Storm is probably their fastest song on the album. It's got a really quick tempo with tons of tempo changes. It's got kind of a catchy chorus, which is weird saying just because of how awkward everything can kind of feel. The bridge is soaring. Honestly, the whole song is just, it's all over the place. And even though there's a lot of abrupt things happening, it still flows pretty smoothly. The closing track, The Grind, which is about the grind of life and trying to make the most of it. Like, a lot of us are kind of doing the same exact thing every single day. You wake up, make your coffee, head out the door to go to work, deal with all the crap you gotta deal with at work, and then you go home, watch maybe 3 hours of TV while you eat dinner, take a shower and go to bed, and then do the same exact thing. And it's all about kind of accepting that and enjoying it and not really letting it get you down. And this song really combines all of the sounds that we've heard throughout this album so far. It makes it kind of, it makes you a little uncomfortable just because there's so much going on. There's just so many layers to the music. The bridge and the breakdown do offer some stable ground, but again, there's not like tempo shifts or anything. It's just, there's a lot of instrumentation happening, a lot of different sounds and the different guitar riffs and the drums, and it's just, there's a lot in this song. And I still enjoy the hell out of it. It's definitely a good closer, especially emotionally, and just, it's a good climax. Like I said, it fits everything all into one, and somehow they managed to do it without completely ruining the song. So I enjoyed Fortitude quite a bit, but it took me a while to get there, just because there's so much going on. There's boinging sounds in Amazonia, there's super fat riffs that I enjoyed a lot in Newfound and Sphinx. The chant is kind of chanty with its woes. There's this big old mashup, like a medley of everything and grind. There's just a lot of stuff going on in this album. And it took me a little bit to really grasp everything I was hearing and really come to terms with it in a way. But one thing that they managed to do is they have a very uplifting, positive sounding album going here. It all fits under the same theme, and it works really well and is quite unexpected, especially from Gojira. Maybe I'm just not that familiar with their sound in general, but there was not really a whole lot that I didn't like about this album. Like, come to think of it, the only thing I really didn't like that much was the boinginess in Amazonia, but there wasn't really a whole lot that I loved about it either. So again, it just made it really hard for me to not feel lukewarm on this album. But when looking at it as a whole, just how fantastic everything is, the production on it's so crystal clear. Even though the riffs can be kind of staticky and really crunchy and sludgy sounding, the vocals can be sitting behind the mix and they're kind of hard to hear. Everything still just sounds so great. So with all that said, I got to give Fortitude by Gojira a 7.9 out of 10. But I want to know what you guys think. If you listened to Fortitude, or maybe you've only heard the song Another World and you need to take a shot at it because it's so much deeper than just that one sound that they had in that song, go ahead and give a couple of these songs a listen. Let me know what you thought, and let me know what you would rate it. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, and ring the bell. That way you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. Leave a comment below letting me know what I should review next. It'll be featured on an upcoming Request Wednesday. And I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day or night whenever you happen to be watching this. And I will talk to you guys next time.
I was trying